Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Our Small Footprint. Another day of food prep. A lot of piecing and peeling and prepping and getting ready for things to be able to cook other things. Still working my way through the chicken thighs and the garlic and all that sort of thing. So come along and see how the kitchen is run on a day-to-day basis after the monthly shopping haul, and I hope some inspiration is given. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a great day. Today was a little bit of trying to get through some stuff that still needs processing, so I had to do some more of the piecing of the chicken. So I bought two 18 kilo boxes, and after this lot that I've pieced here, there's still 18 kilos in the freezer and 2 kilos in the fridge that have just finished defrosting now. So I've gotten through 16. Actually, there's two 2 kilo bags. There's 4 kilos. So I've gotten through 14 kilos and 4 kilos more to go in the next day or so that has been defrosted, but still got 18 kilos in the freezer. Now, this was a great buy cost-wise. It worked out about $2.27 per kilo for the chicken, and then once I pieced it out, it works out that you get around about 50% to 60% of usable thighs, so it still only works out at like $4 something a kilo for chicken thighs, and chicken thighs are $10 a kilo in the stores at the moment. So whilst this is a lot of work, it's more than a 50% discount on purchasing the chicken thighs, so well worth it. But yeah, it's been a bit of an arduous task, and the 18 kilos in the freezer will still need to be processed too, because they're taking up a lot of room in the freezer in the bags that they're in. But when I bought them, they were frozen, so I didn't have a whole lot of choice as to how to store them initially to get through them, and I didn't want to defrost them all at the same time, and it all ended up being a bit of a cascade. But I've gotten piecing them a lot quicker than I did, so that works. I'm putting all the bones into bags in the freezer in 1.5 kilo lots to use for stock and dog food. I am keeping the skins that I don't cook at the moment. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with them, but I didn't want to throw them out, so they're going in the freezer for the moment. We'll see. And the thighs, we're doing various different things that we would normally do with thighs. So I cooked up some more of the chicken skins this time, and last time I forgot to show images of once they were done. So this is what they look like when they're done. They look like chicken chips, basically. They are very hot, but they crack like a chip and they taste like chicken. So this is what they look like. After I got some of that chicken sorted, I had to sort more garlic. So one of the lots of garlic I got, a lot of it was sprouting, which is fine. It changes the flavour slightly, but it's supposed to be better for you anyway, because when garlic grows, it releases more of phyto something or other, whatever it releases for growth purposes, which you're then consuming if you're eating it sprouted. So all irrelevant. But I decided that I was going to smoke all the sprouted garlic, just as a nice easy way to do it. Kept aside a couple of kilos to plant of the really big ones, and the rest went in the smoker. We've got a little bit of a surplus of eggs at the moment, which is superb. The chickens are really picking up laying, so I decided to make some sourdough pasta batches. Sonnet helped me with these, which had its pros and cons. Pasta's a little bit titchy, and you really kind of need to get the measurements right with this, otherwise it doesn't come together. So there was a little bit of adding liquids and stuff to get the batches that she was helping to weigh out right, but she wanted to help, and that's fine. So we did the pasta doughs up. So I use 3 large eggs. They have to be pretty big. Preferable to have a duck egg in one of those 3 for me, so maybe 4 standard chicken eggs, 100 grams of starter, 400 grams of flour, and 60 grams of oil, and then it just goes into the Thermomix is what I use, or any sort of food processor type thing, and you want to bring it together until it comes into these little balls sort of looking things, and then you have to pour it all out onto a mat and you have to knead it in. So sourdough pasta is a little bit different to standard pasta dough. You want it to be a little bit dry because I'm going to leave it wrapped on the bench for 4 to 6 hours, and during that time the starter ferments slightly and some of the flour hydrates from the starter and things like that, and it ends up quite soft. And if you start off too soft, once it's fermented a little bit, it's too hard to roll out. It all sticks to everything. So this is looks a little drier than a standard pasta dough, and that's on purpose because sourdough starter requires that. I've got a whole video on doing my sourdough pasta. I'll link it in the comments below for you. After that, I marinated the chicken thighs that I had pieced this morning. Now, I was not really in a mood to measure anything, which isn't unusual for me, and so I just tossed it all in a Ziploc bag and poured in stuff. So I use a little bit of olive oil, some garlic powder, a bunch of paprika, some cowboy candy brine. I added a little bit of sugar and molasses because I didn't have any brown sugar made up, and a little bit of the honey from my fermented garlic, some mustard powder, and I just mixed it really well. So I ended up having to put my hand in the bag to get it to mix. It was a lot more in that bag than should have been, and I would normally do it in a bowl, but I didn't have room in the fridge to put a bowl in, so I did it in the Ziploc bag because I could fit that in the fridge better. So I massaged it all through the marinade and stuck it in the fridge to cook for later. When I sorted the garlic, I kept aside a bunch of the garlic that didn't have significant sprouting to make another jar of honey up with the darker honey. So I sat there and peeled a whole jar of the worth of the garlic. These cloves are quite a bit bigger than the ones that I was dealing with the other day, so I didn't soak them or anything. I just peeled them, just dealt with it. It worked. It was okay with the size cloves, so I filled a jar with those. The smoked garlic was ready to come out of the smoker, so this time I left it exposed for the whole smoke. Last time I covered it up halfway through the smoke. This time I left it exposed, which has added a lot more colour to the papers and a lot more smoke flavour to the garlic. We quite like this, so I did that. I actually didn't get to peeling it while it was warm, so we're going to test out tomorrow whether peeling smoked garlic cold works. The kids had bolognese for dinner, something nice and easy, pre-made bolognese that I just pulled out of the freezer, heated up and cooked dried pasta with. It's one of their favourite meals and it's full of veggies and they enjoy it, and that's the main thing. So that was a nice easy dinner for them while I was still working on everything else. I poured the dark honey into the garlic and I thought I'd show you what it looks like because it's really kind of pretty. this is what the honey looks like once it's finished fermenting. So as you can see, it's really watery, and it's the garlic is all sunk back to the bottom. There's no real bubbling activity or anything like that. It's definitely finished its activation, and it's ready to just go in the fridge. So I just thought I'd show you this as a comparison to the thicker bubbling honey. This is what it looks like when it's sort of done. I cooked up some of the chicken thigh pieces for dinner, so they're lovely and moist. They've got this nice sugary, it's not very sweet, but the added molasses and the honey and stuff create a bit of a bark on the outside of the chicken when you cook it, which is really nice, the texture wise. And I served it up with just some sauteed veg. So I cooked off the chicken, and then I cooked off some cauliflower and broccoli and the leaves from the cauliflower and whatever else I had in the fridge off in the sauce from where I had cooked, in the the juices from where I had cooked the chicken, and served it all up with the chicken for dinner. So that was today. It was a lot of just piecing and peeling and prepping and things like that, which is how my days go at this time of the month. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you again tomorrow. Thanks.